And now, ladies and gentlemen, live from the famous ACME Comedy Theatre in Hollywood, this is the ACME Radio Hour featuring the Liquid Radio Players. And now, please welcome to the stage, Mr. Dave Cox.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the ACME Radio Hour. Thank you. Please, I can't hear myself think over the massive throng that's here tonight in the theater. It is unfortunately my sad duty to tell you that due to an unfortunate Zeppelin accident, the scripts for tonight's show were lost and we will be unable to perform. There will be no refunds. I'm sorry. Good night. Well, if we were to continue, we just have to make everything up. What? You want to hear that? Well, I suppose we could. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I am prepared, and so are the players of the Liquid Radio Players, to improvise a complete show for you this evening. Would you like to do something like that? Thank you, and especially to the members of our armed forces. Now, ladies and gentlemen, tonight we are prepared to do a thrilling adventure story. So the first thing we need from you is the title for our adventure story. Throw some nouns and verbs together, an exciting adventure tale that you have never heard before, but perhaps you've always wanted to. This will all be edited out later on, ladies and gentlemen. These massive pauses. No, I'm kidding, they won't. The folks at home are sitting wondering what is wrong with all those people there in the theater. Tell me, just a title for tonight's show. A pressing dilemma. A pressing and vague dilemma. Excellent. Thank you very much, man. All right, now we need some characters for tonight's show, obviously, if we're going to improvise it. So I need a hero for tonight's show, a professor or a doctor of some kind. Dr. Zander, the mysterious Dr. Zander. Fantastic. Now, I need a companion for Dr. Zander, a young person or a lady of some kind. The name of a sidekick. Cindy. Cindy what? Cindy Thompson. Little Cindy Thompson. Excellent. Now, I need a foreign-sounding name. Mr. Dragoo. There are no wrong answers, ladies and gentlemen. I'm appreciating every single one of these suggestions. Now, also, I need an evil-sounding name. Ladies and gentlemen, let me explain how this process works. I ask you to fill in some blanks. You throw in some names. Perhaps, sir, what's your name? Just your first name. Jay, excellent. Jay is an excellent first name. And ma'am, what's your last name? What? Jay Sims. Oh, how excited you will be to see your monikers used in tonight's show. Yes. Jay Sims. Sir, what's your first name? Eric. Excellent. And what's your middle name, ma'am? Jean. Eric Jean. Exactly. Fantastic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is plenty for us. Now, as you know, ladies and gentlemen, radio isn't free, so we need some products to sponsor tonight's show. Yes. What? Cool Whip. A fantastic sponsor. Cool Whip. Excellent. Now, what is a service one could possibly use here in the 1940s? Martinizing. Excellent. What's your last name, ma'am? Rudy's Martinizing Service. Rudy's Martinizing. And finally, what is something that you might give someone as a gift? An expensive gift. A portable shoe shiner. And fantastic. And what's a company that makes products here in the 40s? Zimco's portable shoe shiner. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the last response you have to give me besides laughter and adoration. For we are about to begin tonight's show. Let's recap. The title of tonight's show, A Pressing Dilemma. Starring Dr. Zander, Cindy Thompson, Mr. Dragoo, Jay Sims, and Eric Jean. Sponsored by Rudy's Martinizing, Cool Whip, and Zimco's Portable Shoe Shiner. Now, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and welcome the cast of Liquid Radio Players! Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another exciting ACME Radio Theatre Adventure Hour. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We have assembled some of the finest radio performers that money can buy. Now, as you know, tonight, the continuing adventures of the mysterious Dr. Xander, played each and every week by Michael Perkins. Dr. Xander, mysterious master of Eastern philosophy and Western science. With the aid of his adventure squad, he solves dilemmas from around the world. This week, he meets an especially pressing dilemma. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I believe our scripts are prepared and are being handed out to our performers, so we're almost ready to begin. Now, ladies and gentlemen, during the course of tonight's performance, you may hear sounds that startle and amaze you. You may, for instance, hear the sound of a runaway locomotive being manned by a monkey who's been drinking. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. A locomotive isn't barreling towards you, powered by a drunk simian. It's merely the fantastic Foley work of Mr. Brian Habicht. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. All right, are you prepared for a fantastic, exciting, thrilling adventure? Well, that's good, because we are on the air in 3, 2, 1. Adventure! Ladies and gentlemen, the ACME Radio Hour presents the Liquid Radio Players in Adventure! Members of the ACME Radio Adventure Club, please set your adventure watches to 7, 13, double Q. And see if you can solve the mystery of tonight's Super Clue. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's episode, number 14 in the continuing series, A Pressing Dilemma. We find Dr. Xander, as we always do, on top of Mount Doom, his incredible fortress of scientific adventure. He's mulling over some mysterious documents that have been recently delivered to him in a mysterious case by a mysterious person. And he's trying to explain to his young ward, J. Sims, exactly what's going on and why these papers are so important.
Dr. Xander, I don't get it.
Well, calm down, Jay. You see, right here, it says, beware the man with a wrinkled visage. You see, you had problems reading it because you haven't been brushing up on your Aramaic.
That's true, you caught me. I've been behind in my studies.
Yes, well, it seems somebody went through a lot of trouble to postage send this pile of documents. Yes. Oh, wait a minute.
Some of the parchment began to crumble in his hands, and he carefully placed it upon the desk and used his magnifier.
Whoa. Oh, Billy, hand me the Zydeco 12 magnifying lens, please.
Okay, let me just get up on the shelf, and it's, Zydeco 10, Zydeco 11, here you go. Catch!
Whoa! Ah, close one. Beware, that thing's made out of diamond.
Luckily, Dr. Xander has the reflexes of a cobra and a mongoose, if a cobra and a mongoose were ever to marry.
Yeah. Now, let's take a little closer look at this. You see, right here, it appears to be, why, a runic map. Just get a little closer here. Open the window shade, please. I need more light.
Well, okay, let me just climb down the ladder and get over there. Oh, here we go. Bright as day.
The window shade opened, and there, silhouetted in the moonlight, was a feminine figure.
Oh, golly gee, what's that?
Dr. Xander.
Why, hello, Cindy.
Should I let her in?
Why, gentlemen wouldn't do anything other.
Here, let me open the window for you.
it was Cindy Thompson, who you may remember from episode 7, The Adventure of the Monkeys on a Train Who Drank Liquor.
Why, Cindy, your leg seems to have healed quite well.
I'll say.
Oh, boys. I know it's not my place, but I smelled an adventure, and, well, I just, you know.
Well, it would appear your sniffer is quite correct. Come have a look at this map we're perusing.
Wait, let me just check first. Is your visage wrinkled? Nope.
Why, her skin is smooth as smooth can be.
But, strangely, when she saw the maps, her skin, so smooth and porcelain-like, went a deeper shade of white.
She's unblushing.
Oh, dear. Oh, these maps just aren't any maps. You do realize that.
Realize what?
She pulled a locket from underneath her dress and opened it, showing the doctor what was within.
Look, the north compass. It matches the inside of this locket.
Why, it's a perfect match.
And on the other side of the locket, a picture of her father. Her lost father!
This place, this map, it was my father's ruin.
Yes, suddenly I'm starting to see the resemblance in the character strokes. Your father wrote this map, didn't he?
He did. Oh, Dr. Zander, please, don't go here. I think it's just too dangerous.
Dangerous? Why, I've never been too afraid to go to mystical Tibet.
You don't know Dr. Zander very well, do you?
Well, very well. But I'm going with you if there's someone who knows a thing or two about this land.
Dr. Zander opened up the top of a nearby globe and flicked the switch that was within, opening the ceiling and lowering the gyrocopter from the roof.
Please step in, ladies first.
Thank you, Doctor.
I'll get the bags.
I'll pack a delightful lunch.
And with that, the gyrocopter took to the sky from the top of Mount Doom, headed directly east. The far east. You know, ladies and gentlemen, if you've never been to the Far East, they have a dessert there that I find absolutely delightful. And the only way to make it more delightful is with the addition of good old American Cool Whip.
Oh, this pumpkin pie is fantastic, Carl. Why, thank you, Jay. It's made of the finest ingredients. Good old American pumpkins. Yes. The kind you'd find in a patch, glazed by the autumn sun. Plums ripe as the rosy cheeks of a newborn child.
Ah, that's what makes you one of the best chefs America's ever had.
But the secret is crowned with goodness. Cool Whip.
Oh, is that this delicious dollop on top?
Indeed. Its sugary, fluffy goodness can outlast the taste of any wonderful pie.
Boy, this reminds me of the K-12s I ate during the war. Pumpkin and plum and a little dollop of deliciously delicious Cool Whip.
Yes. Eat it out for that cool, but takes you back to a simpler time.
Yes.
A heroic time when our brave men fought across foreign soils.
That's right.
To bring this land to prosperity.
That's right.
So next time, America, you're eating a delicious pie with Cool Whip, think of America. Thank you, Cool Whip.
Yes, Cool Whip. Whether it's on a good American pumpkin pie or a strange Eastern dessert that I've come to know as yak butter, Cool Whip accents any flavor. Now, if you recall, Dr. Zander, Jay Sims, and Cindy Thompson were in a gyrocopter headed far out to sea. If you were to look out the crystalline nose cone of that gyrocopter, you would see a mountainous terrain, a treacherous mountain terrain that Dr. Zander knew only too well.
Yes, and if you look down there, that's where the Gollywogs live. They invented Buddhism.
Oh, look, Dr. Zander, the break in the trees, that cave.
Oh, why, that looks just like the cave on this map.
Looks foreboding to me.
Wait a minute, but in this picture there's no Zeppelin next to it. My God, that Zeppelin! It can only mean one thing. Nazis.
Look at how the patches of the cloth that are making up the Zeppelin come together in a swastika pattern.
devious design can only be one person. Mr. Dragoo.
Not Mr. Dragoo. Turn this gyrocopter around.
It's too late. We only had enough fuel for a one-way journey. I'm afraid the next place we're going is the Cave of Nazis.
And with that, the gyrocopter spun it once, twice, 3 times, and plummeted to the fluffy white snow below. When next Jay Sims and Cindy Thompson opened their eyes, they could not see Dr. Xander anywhere nearby, but only an unbroken field of white.
Jay, is that you?
It is, Miss Thompson. God, where's the doctor?
I don't know.
Where are we? Oh, I remember. We're near that cave.
Suddenly, they realized that the unbroken field of white was not in fact snow, but the fur of the mysterious Yeti!
Hold on to me!
Who grabbed one of them in each mighty paw.
Oh, if my father taught me right, just stroke the fur and speak in soft tones.
Speaking soft tones, I got weapons right in my belt. I mean, I could do something. I could really do something.
No, the guy needs a woman's touch. There.
All right. I'll use my right hand. It's more womanly. There you go. There you go, little fella. I mean, there you go, little fella.
Oh, he's taking us into the cave.
Don't worry. Play dead and maybe he'll leave us be.
Oh, Dr. Xander. I hope he finds us.
Smells something terrible in here.
Where is Dr. Xander? Why, at that moment, clinging to a peak several hundred yards down the face of the mountain, was Dr. Xander, who had deployed a grappling hook and hauled himself up from a deadly crevasse.
Thank goodness I always carry a spare grappling hook in my garter belt. Oh, I must be mere hundreds of yards away from the rest of them. Let's see if I can orient myself by looking down. Yes, that's Mount Kombucha. And the Chai Peaks? Why, yes, I must be just a kilometer away.
But suddenly, Dr. Xander smelled a very familiar tea.
Earl Grey.
He turned, and there, upon the peak, was none other than famed explorer Eric Jean, who had conquered yet another peak.
Ahoy there! Traveler home!
My goodness! The famous explorer Eric Jean!
In the flesh, my good man!
Eric Jean appears courtesy of the USO.
Yes, fortune smiles upon me to have you exploring this peak.
Oh, well, just killing some time. I was exploring devious, scary mountains of Mongolia. I decided I'll take a little detour here in lovely, mystical Tibet.
Well, fortunately, Lady Fate has brought us together.
Yes. And where might you be looking at, my good man?
A cave full of Nazis.
You don't speak of the mystical Tibetan cave due south.
Eric Jean raised his binoculars to his eyes to see a shaggy white form carrying 2 helpless youngsters into the very same cave.
Now, if I look through my optical lenses here, you can see the entrances. Wait a minute. What? A Yeti! As I live and breathe, a Yeti right before us. Look straight ahead. Here, share one lens of my binocular.
Oh my God!
And he's carrying 2 people in his arms. Are they companions of yours?
Can it be? Has the Yeti turned over to Der Fuhrer?
Oh no. On that Zeppelin. That Nazi Zeppelin. Undeniably the work of Mr. Dragoo.
Yes.
Listen, we must go down and rescue your friends.
Why, with my brains and your broad and mountaineering experience, I think maybe we can just pull our way out of this adventure.
If we're lucky. Quick! I'll retract my rope belt. We'll swing down to the crevice in no time.
Oh, let me hold your tight hips as you swing.
Wait. Let me first grab my cup of Earl Grey tea.
At just that moment, in the depths of the mysterious cave, the Yeti was approaching a throne, and upon that throne was perched Mr. Dragoo.
What have you brought me, my big white friend? What is the... Oh, two interesting little peoples, yes?
Let us go.
The Yeti shook them to consciousness, but shook them too hard and they went unconscious once more.
Oh, gently, my giant friend, gently.
But then, with some gentle jostling, they became awake once again.
Oh, good.
I keep falling asleep.
Yes.
Oh, this is murder.
You have not seen the murder yet, my young friend.
Not seen? What
That's
are you
right.
trying to say?
You have not seen it yet.
He crossed one powerful leg over the other, his black knee-high jack boots shining in the midnight sun of Tibet.
Are you mocking my accent, my little skinny friend?
I wouldn't presume, Your Highness.
Highness, get it on high.
So we mean no disrespect, and we don't want to interfere with your acquisition of ancient art.
We don't let him know what...
I see that you have been brought here under someone else's guise, then.
I'm just curious.
Really?
That's all.
Just curious. So you decided to step inside a very dangerous cave. A cave known to carry many artifacts.
We're just hikers. We got lost in an avalanche and, you know...
Really?
And hijacked by that brute of a Yeti
Is that...
under your command.
Really? Is that why you're wearing Dr. Xander's pin of adventure?
Whoa! Oh!
He plucked it from his chest and held it up.
Give that back! Give it
Oh,
back!
how it glittered.
Ah, yes, Dr. Xander. Once a colleague of mine, but unfortunately, he chose to go on a different path.
He remembered it like it was yesterday, at the University of Austria in 1928.
Xander, you're the smartest man in this class, and I think you and I could make millions and 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 millions of good money together.
Well, that's true, we could, but being I'm already wealthy, I just use my knowledge for creating simple, profitless pastimes.
Blue bloods, I hate them.
Yes, oh, by the way, I stopped by the patent office and patented all the stuff we've discovered, so I'm afraid you can't use it.
Curse you, Xander! I will never rest until I've destroyed you in your adventuring.
Oh, well, I'm off to play squash.
Oh, then I'd better get to my co-op.
I just bought it. I'm turning it into my squash room.
Curse you, Xander! And so you see, it was very painful for me to watch him and his big pounds of money to run around and play squishy things.
Well, the way you tell it, he does come off as kind of selfish.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying, selfish.
But wait a minute, no, you're using your Nazi mind tricks to make me think like you. That's what you did to this Yeti, didn't you?
Perhaps.
Yetis are naturally peaceful.
Yes, they are quite quaint creatures once you get to know them.
I can't pretend you're a horrible man. Let us out.
I will let you out when your Xander comes a-calling. If you're here, he is not too far away. Go, my Yeti friend, find him. Go bring him to me, my beautiful child.
It was true, Dr. Xander wasn't far away. He and Eric Jean were rappelling down the side of the mountain, closer and closer to the cave. But first, Dr. Xander saw the open door on the Zeppelin and had an idea.
Ah, the fools! Once again, they've left the entryway open.
Ah, so it appears they have.
Yes. Fortunately, this delicious Pall Mall cigarette of mine can fly effortlessly through the opening and set the blimp ablaze. Good luck getting back to the Kaiser now.
Before you throw that pack, let me have one of those.
Here you go.
Ah,
Inhale deeply. Isn't it crackling fresh?
indeed. That smooth, mild taste that sets a true adventurer afoot.
Yes, the Turkish tobacco is tickling my T-zone.
Now then, dispense with that pack and bring those dastardly Nazis to justice.
Sayonara, Adolf!
Wait a minute, I smell something outside. This delicious cigarette smoke.
It's working.
Cigarette? Maybe there's another good guy.
Oh, there are flames engulfing us.
Yes, there it is.
And with that, the Zeppelin plummeted into the deep crevasse, never to be seen again.
Death has never smelled quite so sweet.
Or satisfying.
But the sound has drawn the attention of the Yeti.
sound. It's coming through the cave entryway.
My God, we've caught the attention of that hairy beast.
Oh, it's that Yeti I saw in my binoculars.
Oh, quick! Let's see if I consult these mysterious papers I was mailed. Why, yes, of course. You see, it's a formula for creating a non-Euclidean passage through the rock wall.
Non-Euclidean?
Yes. You see, Euclidean geometry dictates that this rock wall is impassable. But if we ignore Euclid's theories, why, we can pass right through it harmlessly.
And use a number value incongruent with its value divided side. It's brilliant.
Yes, now just let me divide by 0 and yes! We're through!
And with that, they pass through as if a phantom into the interior of the cave.
Oh, now, though we struck a moment of luck avoiding that Yeti, I think it's time we reunite with your companions.
But they can still hear a helicopter circling above the mountain. Gonna be circling for a while, I imagine.
Hopefully the Germans haven't commandeered my gyrocopter.
Oh no.
Sasquatch, I can see you from afar!
Ah!
Ah!
Yes.
Silly German pilot training.
They never mastered counter-rotation.
Meanwhile, deeper in the mountain, Dark Mr. Dragoo has taken poor Cindy Thompson alone into a chamber.
Get your meat hooks off of me.
Poor Cindy Thompson.
An ancient Tibetan marriage chamber.
Yes. Now you will learn why you are afraid of the dark. Now you will learn why the Nazi power is greater than your weak American construct.
You acquire everything else. You won't acquire me. Surely there's a way to...
A small, bold native brought in a silver tray with wine and glasses.
Here, Dragoo, go.
Thank you, Gary.
No problem.
I named him that. I don't like his other name. Van von Higethanen.
I don't like you. Here, take that wine and here. Oh, yeah.
How dare you? I can see by your ancient symbol of goodness that you are all that I need to achieve complete control of this cave and to pull from it all of the ancient powers of the mystic energies and everything that I can use to control you and the Nazis.
You'll never have it. He's my father's.
But he grabbed her by the upper arm very tightly and pushed her slowly back towards a stone bed.
Stay down! I said stay down!
No.
He bound her with silken cords.
This is very expensive, this silken cord. Very and very passionate. This is passion cord. And I want you to understand one thing. I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for the world. Then there's another thing I want you to know.
Back in the entryway, Dr. Zander and Eugene and Eric Jean had entered.
An empty throne. What can it mean?
Well, I know one thing about traversing the mountains of Mongolia. These gilded edges here indicate some sort of mystical Tibetan ritual rite.
Ah, of course. I recognize the symbol of the yak.
Yes. In the eye of Qinghua, seer of all, originator of all, it appears that the evil Dragoo is trying to channel these energies, harness whatever mystical powers they contain, in order to rise Germany to the forefront of the powers and bring our beloved America to its knees.
Wow, you're even smarter than I.
Maybe.
But Dr. Zander had an idea of how to thwart this horrible, horrible thing.
Yes. If I know that rumpled Mr. Dragoo, why, his hubris may be his downfall. Let's see.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you possessed of hubris? Do you find yourself feeling less of a man or a woman without properly shined shoes? Well, then let me turn you on to a secret that's kept my family feeling very, very vain for many years. It's the Zimco portable shoe shiner. The shoe shiner preferred by those in the know.
Sweetheart, we've got the finest cabin on this whole ship, haven't we?
My, oh my. Oh, boy, first class.
Yes, and we've got seats at the captain's table for dinner tonight.
We must dress to impress.
We must. That dress makes you look ravishing.
Oh, darling.
And your shoes. Oh, your shoes.
Your shoes?
They're as dull as dishwater.
Well, I guess we could spit shine.
Never. And we can't trust the shoe shine boys on this ship to have the most up-to-date quality tools.
Oh, whatever we're gonna do, we're out at sea.
Don't fear loss. Here comes Zimco!
That's right. I've got the best shoe shine portability in the country.
Why, it's an Italian.
That's right. I'm the Signore Zimco.
I associate Italians with shiny shoes.
That's what we got.
And spaghetti.
That's right.
How does your device work, Mrs. Zimco?
That's pretty quick and easy. First, you take this sponge, you twist it up at the bottom, pull it apart, place it on top of the shoe, and it shine away.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Oh, my.
I can see my own reflection in my shoes, and I like it.
That's a Zimco's reflection.
Now, I guess just the question is spaghetti for dinner?
That depends on the captain. Zimco!
Thanks, Zimco's portable shoe shiner.
Zimco's portable shoe shiner.
That's alright.
The modern Zimco is merely a caricature of Italians and it bears no relation to actual Italians or Mussolini. When last we left poor J. Sims, he had been left behind for dead. And as you know, Yetis are attracted to dead meat. As he lay at the bottom of a pit, the Yeti slowly approached. Jay would have to think fast, or he'd certainly be dinner.
Oh, boy. Hey, little fella. You can just stay back. I'm not dead.
Jay!
Whoa.
Use your knowledge of metallurgy!
Why, I can hear the voice of Dr. Xander in my head, and there's only one way out of this. Thank goodness my hands aren't tied. I can get into my utility sack. Well, I've got some zinc, I've got some aluminum, and some aluminium. That's English aluminum. If I put them together, they should create a shine and a heat that will scare any primitive creature like the Yeti. Let me just see if I can rub them together. Use this phosphorus acid. There, it's shining. It's glowing. Take a look at this, buddy. You don't like that, do you? That's right. Run away, you beast. Run away. Now to find Cindy Thompson and to get out of this mountain.
He took a firm grip on his big sack and headed deeper into the mountain.
Here goes nothing. I'll just have to think like Dr. Xander would. Oh, it's awful dark down here.
He wasn't the only one trying to think like Dr. Xander would. Poor Cindy Thompson was strapped to a table by silken cords, and the ceiling above her was opening like a giant lotus, revealing a crystal aimed directly at her that was about to focus the rays of the moon.
No! What? I've heard of such a thing, but I could never imagine it. Oh! I am at your will, sir.
A strange transformation began to come over her. Not only was she at the will of Mr. Dragoo, but fur began to sprout all over her body. A white, thick, silky pelt.
Rise, my mighty fighting machine. This is another great adventure for you to destroy. There are evil beings in this cave. You must remove them.
Yes, Dr. Dragoo.
She got to her feet, her enormous paws, and walked lumberingly towards the door, which was unfortunately now too small for her.
Just push it. That's it. Just push it to the side. Push it. Put your head through first. Put your head through. No, come here. I'll help you. Come here. Bend down. Bend down. That's it. Now head.
15 minutes later,
Out you go.
and thus down the hallway she lumbered towards an unsuspecting Dr. Xander and J. Sims.
Dr. Xander!
Why, my little protege!
Oh, it's so good to see you.
Where have you been and Why are you shining so brightly?
Whoa, let me cover up my aluminum and aluminium and phosphorus shiner.
And a bit of zinc, don't forget.
Yes, I use it to scare off a Yeti.
Well, that's a once-in-a-lifetime experiment. I'm sure it'll never come in handy again.
Well, let me just tell you something. I noticed something a little strange about that Yeti. There was a glint in its eye that was a little human.
A human Yeti? Maybe you've been mixing more than zinc and aluminium.
No, it reminded me of that picture on the locket that Cindy had. I don't know.
You mean the picture of her father?
Well, I must be seeing things. I must be snowblind. I don't know.
To think that a man could become a hairy beast here in the wild.
Well,
It's
either way,
fantastical.
now we know how to scare him off, and we gotta find Cindy and fast.
Yes. Because if these papers are correct, the Germans could be capable of destroying inner peace forever.
Germans capable of that? I can't even imagine it.
Yes.
They rushed down the hallway, following the only hallway that was carpeted.
That's comfortable on my feet.
Oh, it's shaggy.
Meanwhile, down a different uncarpeted passageway, Eric Jean was making his way, regretting his offer to look ahead and let Dr. Xander stay behind.
What was I thinking? Two people should have gone by themselves. Together, through this dark cave. That's all right, Gene. You've seen yourself through some tough pickles here. Let me just get my flare torch. There we go.
But what was that? What was that growling sound he heard?
What? No, the Yeti, it's... It's a she-Yeti. Stand back. No, it's overpowering me.
He attempted to stab it with his knife.
Can you speak?
No use!
No, the fur is too thick.
He attempted to shoot it with his pistol.
Maybe I'll take out my pistol. The bullets bounced back as though they're made of rubber.
He poured some chloroform onto a rag and attempted to throw it in her face.
All right, dip some on there, throw it, and...
Still no use.
Is this the end of famed explorer Eric Jean? Let me take out that last Pall Mall cigarette, Jean. Maybe this is your last adventure. Attack!
And as the she-Yeti embraced him in a warm and tender embrace, he lost consciousness and his last cigarette. At just that moment, in the central chamber, Mr. Dragoo was laughing a fiendish Nazi laugh while sipping schnapps from a fiendish Nazi cup. When suddenly he heard a voice as if it was inside his own head, and yet he could see no one nearby.
That's fine. Remember the secrets I denied you.
Who is that?
Squash at 12?
Squash, I've not talked about that in 20 years.
I'm rich and you're poor.
Was ist this? Trickery! Xander, is that you?
Yes, I was right behind you the whole time, demoralizing you.
Curse you! Curse you, you wealthy peasant!
Yes. I can afford quiet shoes.
Shoes! I haven't had nice, comfortable shoes in years.
Yes, I know. So, you didn't think I would find your cave, did you?
No, I didn't think you had the guts to come up here, nor the stupidity.
He snapped his fingers, and through a portal crossed a she-Yeti, holding the unconscious form of Eric Jean, half of his body in one hand, half of his body in the other, with her gaping jaws wide, her fangs glistening, about to take a bite from his torso.
You savage! By looking at the posterior of that she-Yeti, I can see she's clearly an estrus. You've turned her motherly desires into a craven, murderous rage, and you're gonna have to... I'm speaking in tongues!
That's right, Xander! For once I have you at the wanting of something. For once your money cannot purchase you some sort of squash appointment or some sort of adventure. This time you will have to sacrifice something.
Sacrifice? You want to hear about sacrifice?
Yes.
I sold stock in the... How about you?
How dare you! I will stop you! That is why I carry a saber with me!
A saber is no match for a Derringer 22.
I should have known better than to bring a knife to a gunfight.
Yes. That's you Germans, always bringing a knife to a gun.
But Dragoo snapped his fingers, and the female Yeti threw Eric Jean as a projectile, knocking the gun from his hand.
How do you like your little adventuring friend now?
Dr. Xander knew that only the power of true love could reverse the hideous Tibetan spell. He looked in Cindy Thompson Yeti's eyes. The eyes that were deep set in her Yeti face, but still bore the glint of humanity.
You, she-beast! Look as I unbutton my cravat and expose my manly chest.
You don't do that. That is not right.
Yes, did you realize I rode at Yale?
What? How dare you bring that up?
Yes. Savage me, you wanton she-beast! Savage me!
Her black lips in her furred face puckered and reached slowly for Dr. Xander's head.
Oh, it's so warm!
A strange transformation overcame her, and her lips slowly shrank to half the size of his head. Now a quarter, now an eighth, now back up to a half, now back down to normal human size. And he found in his arms a very, very warm Cindy Thompson.
A pleasure to see you again, madam.
Dr. Xander.
Yes, I'm ashamed to admit I knew it was you all along. Yes, pardon me taking advantage of you, but there was really no other option.
Hey, Doc! Am I too late? Whoa! Cindy, you're back!
Yes.
Everyone had forgotten Mr. Dragoo and the other Yeti. They turned and saw him riding the other Yeti's back, whipping him with a saber, goading them on to destroy all that stood before him.
That's right! And you'll never get out of this cave alive!
Quick, Cindy! Only love can turn the beast back! Don't you recognize that Yeti? He's your father!
I remember when you took me sailing when I was 3. And I remember when we went fishing. Oh, Father, let me pet your beard. Father.
What are you doing? Stop saying those words! Stop doing that!
The Yeti slowly started to shrink,
No!
his fur dropping off of him in clumps, until eventually Mr. Dragoo sat astride the shoulders of an elderly adventurer with a very long white beard.
Oh, is it? Can it be?
Daddy.
Cindy.
Oh,
Oh, let me hold you. Oh, it has been ages.
what a wonderful reunion.
Oh, to think that I would regain my humanity at long last. And as for you, Mr. Dragoo, I have a few things to say to you.
Not before I escape in my extraterrestrial zeppelin! Goodbye! Off I go!
And with that, he pushed a button, and a zeppelin exploded from his backpack, sweeping him out the cave mouth and into the Tibetan sky.
No, fate has reunited us all. We must not let him escape lest he infect someone else with the curse that I have been infected with for so long. Quick, Dr. Xander, is there any hope?
Yes, there is. For you see, the only cure is love. And love is something Nazis just don't have. Like poor little Adolf, rejected by his mother. He can goose step to Cairo for all I care. He'll never know that warm, tender feel of a woman.
So he's just gonna get away. He's just going to win.
I don't know if he's just gonna get away. Did you notice that white fur sprouting around his neck?
Well, that's true. I'd like to see him pilot an extraterrestrial zeppelin with his Yeti hands. He'll die a horrible death.
Let's draw the curtain closed on this scene. And if you've been following along, you know by your decoder ring that the mystery word was L-U-V. Tune in next week for another exciting adventure of Dr. Xander and Adventure Theater! Our cast of this evening, Brian Giovanni, Michael Perkins, Steve Benaquist, Paul Hungerford, and Maurissa Afanador. On FOLEY, it's Brian Habicht. In the booth, it's Josh Paget. On keyboards, Jonathan Green. I'm Dave St. Cox. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And remember, Rudy's Modernizing is the best modernizing in the world. See you next week.